Today, we're going to start in talking about something completely different. Like, what is disease? Where does it come from? Like when you're talking about digestive disorders, ulcerative colitis, vitiligo, arthritis, cancers, inflammatory bowel disorders, everything. When you look at how the human body works, your body produces 1 billion cells a day. Now, 10,000 of those every day are cancer, and your body eliminates it through respiration, perspiration, bowel movements, and urination. This is just the standard process of how a system works. Well, wait a second. If you're producing 1 billion cells, does that mean you're eliminating 1 billion cells? Absolutely. And so this is a natural, normal process. And so if you're producing healthy cells, that's called health. If you're producing unhealthy cells, that's a lack of ease. Some people call it a dis-ease. So when you look at this, what's the difference? Now, let's say that because you've got 5 things, and only 5 things that a human being has to do. You have to take in the nutrients, and this is where every health food guy, everybody says, are you taking your omega-3s? Are you taking your collagen? Are you taking this every day? Great. I'm going to give it to my buddy here, but I'm going to stand on both of his feet while he's eating it. Will he get the absorption? No. He's going to take in the nutrients, but he won't assimilate it. Now, it's interesting. I just put him in stress, in physical stress, by crushing his feet. I didn't. I love you, man. Okay, but you can imagine. So it's not taking in the nutrients. And this is where a lot of health nuts get messed up. Now, assimilate the nutrients. That means that these nutrients have to be broken down. You're only alive, you're only producing these cells because you got 3 products. You're taking the proteins and breaking them to amino acids. You're taking the fats and breaking them to fatty acids. You're taking the usable carbohydrates and converting them to usable sugars. If you don't have that process, then you can't produce healthy cells. You start to produce unhealthy cells. This is why people that have had their gallbladder ripped out, because the guys don't understand what the gallbladder does, it actually helps break down and emulsify fats, and gallstones only form from chronic stress. And luckily, there's only 3 stressors: physical, chemical, and emotional. So that will alter how you assimilate the nutrients. So again, every health food guy on the planet should be checking for your automatic nervous system, because you only have 2 switches. You've got regeneration or stress. That's it. If your body is in a stress state, and this is sympathetic versus parasympathetic, you have a fight or flight, which keeps you alive under stress, which is fantastic. That's why we can go to work, help people, but you have to have that regeneration. And anytime you're under physical, chemical, or emotional stress, that puts your body, you're running away from tigers. So you cannot, even if you're taking the nutrients in, you can't assimilate them. And that's why if you're not addressing the physical, chemical, and emotional, you can't get better. So 5 keys. You got to take in the nutrients. You got to assimilate. That means you got to break those nutrients down to usable fatty acids, and proteins, amino acids, and usable sugars. Then you have to eliminate it. Now, every human being has 4 detox pathways: respiration, perspiration, bowel movements, and urination. Now, when you're in a stress state, do you have 2 to 3 healthy bowel movements a day? Where if you're like my sweetheart, she says, Johnny, honey, I had the best. Okay. No, that's not TMI. Okay, but what happens under stress? You're getting 1 bowel movement a day if you're lucky, chronic constipation. And then if you're in stupid world, they'll give you herbs to help your bowels instead of fixing the problem. Okay, now, people that have chronic elimination, okay, are they perspiring? Now, when you look at every disease on the planet, there's even books on how to breathe disease away. And we talk about diaphragmatic breathing, where the diaphragm moves, it oxygenates the lower lung. We know that hyperbaric chambers are fantastic for reversing a lot of chronic diseases, chronic brain diseases. Why? Because it helps your body get rid of that carbon dioxide with an acid, which helps your body balance out. And what does every exercise program show? Increase or decrease cancer? Decrease cancer. Increase or decrease dementia? Decrease dementia. So this means that exercise, and what do we have everybody do in between the adjustments? We have them do cross-crawl exercises. We have them get stimulation. We have them do the vibration plate so that we can allow the body to detox its system. Perspiration, phenomenal. This is why they do steam baths. Steam baths have been used for thousands of years. Native Americans, Roman, Chinese. It's fantastic for detoxing. But what happens to people who develop disease problems? It's a tissue production problem or a tissue elimination. So they're either not getting the nutrients or assimilating the nutrients or eliminating the waste products. Now, you can force the body to get colonics. That's not going to work if you're not fixing the problem. I mean, you can look at it all disease. You have a cabin, there's a stream in front of the cabin. One doctor will say the stream's dirty. Yeah, you're right. We could put a filter in the water. Yeah, you're right. We could do other filtration systems too. What you want to look at why the stream's dirty. So we got to look at why the elimination isn't taking place. And that's going to be an autonomic function or a stress state. And then growth. Your body has two nervous systems, sympathetic and parasympathetic, stress and regeneration. Regeneration, if you're under any kind of stress, and luckily, there's only three stressors, physical, chemical, and emotional. If you are not addressing those, you can't grow healthy cells. And then adaptation. Does this mean that your body has to adapt constantly? Yeah, but what do I mean by that? Does your blood pressure go up and down all day long? It has to. If not, you'd go upstairs and pass out. Does blood supply to your gut change all the time? Yeah. When you're walking, when you're going up the stairs, okay? Or you're stressed, or you're thinking about your nephew who doesn't have a job, or your aunt, or this, any kind of emotional stress. Blood supply goes from digestion, which is most of your immune system, out to your arms and legs so you can run away from danger. So adaptation, that's a failure to adapt. And that's what most real doctors are going towards. That disease is really a failure of adaptation. It's a failure of growth. It's a failure of elimination of waste. It's a failure of assimilating the nutrients. Oh, no problem. We'll just give you more supplements. Oh, melatonin, that'll help sleep. No, fix the underlying problem. So when you look at this, and you could say any disease, name any disease, ulcerative colitis, Crohn's disease, Alzheimer's, dementia, autism, any kind of anxiety, stress, depression, these are all anxiety, depression, ADD, impulse control. Those are all features of the frontal lobe. The frontal lobe gets its information from the position and motion of the vertebrae. What do 100% of people with anxiety, stress, depression, and impulse control have? They have an alteration of input, so there's some kind of physical trauma. They have an alteration or a compromised automatic nervous system. They're in a chronic state of stress. So blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol, their metabolism is going to be low. And this is just a stress response. So how do you reverse disease? And all disease is a tissue production problem. This has to do with vitiligo, ulcerative colitis, brain damage, Alzheimer's, everything. So what do you need for tissue production? You need the 4 detoxing pathways to work right. This is why we teach diaphragmatic breathing. We talk about walking. Like right now, I'm talking from Bangkok, Thailand. Okay? And even the cool season is still hot. At the end of every day, Mild, do I go walking? Every day. Every day, man. Because what am I getting? I'm getting respiration and perspiration here. If I was doing this at home, I'd have to have a jacket on. Okay, bowel function, 2 to 3 healthy bowel movements a day. And then urination. That urine should be light yellow or almost clear. Otherwise, you're dehydrated. Does that make sense? And now, since the body produces 1 billion cells a day, 10,000 are abnormal or cancer cells. Now, let's say that your nutrients that you take in happen to be flaming hot Cheetos, and it happens to be Kentucky Fried Chicken. Well, you're getting more toxins. So your body is going to have to wall off those toxins if there's a compromised respiration, perspiration. So you deal with 10,000 cells every day, no problem. But if you have chronic stress, Then you're going to produce 20,000 or 30,000 or 100,000. Now you're talking about 0.1% of all the cells you produce are abnormal. So you can get away with that. This is why people can have a toxic, deficient lifestyle and still be okay. And it's like, you eat like crap. Why don't you get disease? Because they're doing something different. They're either perspiring more, they're breathing more, they're working out more. I mean, I work with a lot of guys that lived off of coffee trucks, which is some of the worst food in the world. Okay? And they're 75, 80, and they're working their butt off. They don't have any diseases, no drugs. How could they live with that? They're perspiring every day. They got good bowel movements. Everything's working right. So this is why we ask about bowel function. We talk about healthy nutrients, but that's only part of it. You got to assimilate, eliminate, growth, and adaptation. Any questions? Copland Crop, thank you very much.